Fabulous people, welcome to the channel for all the babes who create their own life trends. My name is Anastasia, and today I have such an exciting topic prepared for you. Today we are going to talk about the cost of living in Italy. I will share with you what it's like moving to Italy, finding a place in Italy, the cost of living in Italy, and so much more. As most of you know by now, I moved from the US to Rome, Italy many years ago, and looking back, I wish someone made a video that I am making right now so I could watch it, because it would have saved me so much time and money and just really prepared me for what it's like to live in Italy. So if you plan a move to Italy, I promise you will find this video very useful and beneficial. I'm not going to waste your time. I was this close to forget, but I didn't. Please remember to smash that like button right now before you forget. And of course, if my vibe and the vibe of this channel resonates with you, please consider subscribing if you haven't yet. All right, fabulous people, let's get started. So let's begin with the first expense, which I am sure will be your biggest expense in Italy, and that is accommodations. And when it comes to accommodations in Italy, I do have quite a few tips for you. So listen up, because those are very, very important. So if you're just moving, be it from the US, Canada, Australia, doesn't matter, anywhere in the world, to Italy, what I strongly recommend is to not commit right away to a 1-year lease or 2 or 3, etc. What I recommend for you to do is to find a place for maybe 1 month or 2, at most 3, and then when you get here, you can decide if you want to keep this place for longer. You can talk to the owner face to face instead of just messaging them. Or another thing that can happen is you arrive and you look at this place and it looks different than what you imagined, or it feels different, because you guys know I truly believe in energies of the places so much. So you might say, I can't imagine living here for a year or 2, etc., and making this my home. It's not what I imagined. It's not how it looked like on the pictures. So this way you will have a few months to look around and to truly find something that you enjoy. Please keep in mind that finding an apartment in Italy is not as easy as it is, let's say, in the States. Because remember, you are still a foreigner, so you might not have all the documents that Italians normally have. They cannot check your credit history from the States. Your foreign tax returns or bank statements probably will not make a lot of sense to them. So what I strongly recommend is, when you find that place that you truly, truly love, meet with the owner of that place face to face and see what can you show to him or her to make that process easy for them and more comfortable, so they do gain that trust in you and rent you that place of your dreams. All right, so now let's say you guys agreed upon the price and everything is good to go. You are excited, you are getting the place of your dreams, you're ready to begin your dolce vita. Now, there are 2 things that you definitely need to know and to budget for, and it is something that was very painful to me when I moved from the States, because we do not have something like this in the US. And what I'm talking about are actually 2 things. The first one is that you will need to leave a caparra. Caparra is a down payment on the place. And when I was renting my place in the States, normally it's something just very insignificant, maybe $100, $200. Here in Italy, and now I'm specifically talking about Rome, Italy, they do want 2 months of rent. So they will keep those 2 months as a caparra for as long as you're renting that place. And the second thing that I couldn't understand and still don't understand to this day, and that is the fact that most of the apartments that you will find on any different websites or Facebook groups, it doesn't matter how you will be finding your place, which I'm about to talk about this next, is that most of those apartments will be represented by an agency, not an owner himself or herself. And what happens in most of the cases, or pretty much all the cases, is that when you are ready to sign that contract, you will have to pay the agency 1 month of rent. Yes, you heard that correct. Even if this agency does not represent you, you did not hire it, it didn't do anything for you, you are still the one responsible for the cost of that agency. So be prepared, in addition to 2 months caparra, to pay 1 month of rent to the agency that represents the owner. So how do people in Italy in general find their places, be it in Florence, Milan, Rome, Amalfi Coast, Venice, doesn't matter. How do you find a place in Italy? And the most popular website to find a long-term accommodation in Italy is immobiliari.it. And this is the website that I also absolutely love. It has tons of listings and you can sort it out by the area. If you want a terrace, a balcony, a kitchen, if you want a house, apartment, etc., etc., etc. So this is something that I truly recommend for you to look into as you start your search for a long-term place in Italy. All right, the second method is something that I honestly never heard anyone talk about, and I truly hope that I will not get in trouble by sharing this method, but it really does work. What I've done in the past is I went onto Airbnb and looked through many different listings, found the ones that I truly loved, and then contacted the owners and pretty much rented out that place for a week or 2 weeks just to see if I truly like this place. Then afterwards, if I truly loved it, I talked to the owner directly and asked him or her if they would be interested in renting that place for a long term. By using this method, I was able to avoid agency fees and to lock in the apartments of my dreams. So this method worked for me. I truly hope that it will work for you as well, fabulous. All right, fabulous people, now let's get to the juicy part, the actual numbers. And before we get into it, let me just tell you really quick that in Italy, just like anywhere in the world, of course, the closer you are to the center, the more you will be paying. For example, here in Rome, Centro Storico, which is the historic center, of course, it costs a lot to live here. And even Centro Storico itself is divided into many different areas, and some areas cost way more than the others. Let me give you an example. Spanish Steps, Piazza Navona, Campo de' Fiori are the most expensive areas in Rome. If you're looking for something more affordable but still want to stay in Centro Storico, I would consider areas like Trastevere or Monti. Those are great alternatives to the most expensive areas. Now, besides the area of the city, other things that will definitely determine the price of your apartment will be things like the square footage, a balcony, a terrace, a parking spot, and of course, all those extras will cost you extra. Now let's talk numbers. Again, this is going to depend on a lot of different factors, but I'm going to give you more or less an average for every place, okay? All right, so if you're interested in the most expensive area of, let's say, Rome, and as I mentioned before, we're talking about Piazza Navona, Campo de' Fiori, Spanish Steps, you're looking at an average of 2,000 a month. If you are looking for the second best alternative, something less expensive, but you still want to be in the city center, the two great alternatives that I mentioned previously are Trastevere and Monti. There, your rent will be about 1,500 a month. Now, if you're saying this is way outside of my budget, the third best alternative is to live right outside of the city center. There, a one-bedroom apartment will be around 900 per month, which is a very different price from the city center. Now, if you just want a studio, then you are looking at somewhere around 700 per month. And if you just don't care, you just want a room in someone's apartment, then you're looking at somewhere around 500 a month. Finally, moving to the second item on my list. My goodness, it's only second. I felt like I talked so much about the apartments, but of course there are so many details there. And the reason why I also feel like this is right now so close to my heart, the apartment talk, is because right now I'm back from Greece. As most of you know, I traveled Greece for 5 months. So now I am back to Rome and I am looking for a long-term place. So right now I'm in the middle of all this, negotiating, looking, testing, searching, all that good stuff. Anyway, fabulous people, moving on to number 2, and that is the bills. And let me tell you, those of you who are coming from the States, be prepared that bills in Italy are nothing like in the US. They are much higher. Let's talk about the most important bills, all right? And the first one that I want to mention is the condominium bill. The price of your condominium bill will vary depending on a few different factors, like if your building has a concierge, if I was going to say gym. No, you will not probably have a gym in Italy, but also if the water is included, if electricity is included, pretty much what's included in that condominium fee, because it's different for every building. But I would say if you are living in the city center of Rome, your condominium bill will be about 200 euros every 2 months. What's interesting is that in Italy, pretty much every single bill, bollette as they call it, will be arriving to you every 2 months, not every month like, let's say, in the US. One quick tip that I do have for you when it comes to condominium fee is to try to negotiate of including that condominium fee in the apartment rent. A lot of owners, if you negotiate properly, will be willing to pay for that condominium fee themselves. So make sure that you negotiate. Don't just say, okay, I'll pay it, no problem. Try to have it included into your rent. And then another 2 bills that are so incredibly expensive comparing to the States are the electricity, which will run you about 80 euros every 2 months. And then the king of them all, your gas bill. Fabulous. If you are coming from the States, let me tell you, the first time you will receive your gas bill, you will be shocked. Well, maybe not after watching this video, but for me, it was a complete shock. And I realized why most Italians, even during the winter time, prefer to wear something warm inside the apartment like a sweater than turning on the heating, because it's just something honestly outrageous. For example, to warm up 1-bedroom apartment in the city center will cost you about 200 to 400 euros a month. Yes. And the final 2 bills to mention are the spazzatura, which is your garbage service, and that will be about 250 euros for 2 people every 6 months. And then the water bill, which will be about 500 to 700 euros per year. So I wanted to make sure that I go very, very specific on those numbers so you start budgeting and so you have a very good idea of what you're looking at. Now, a separate bill that I want to mention, and that one has nothing to do with your apartment, is the cell phone bill. And fabulous people, here Italy wins all day, every day, even comparing to other European countries. Because here in Italy, we have a service provider called Liad, and ever since it arrived to Italy, it's just been a pure magic, honestly. Because, for example, for me right now, with 50 gigabytes of internet, unlimited calls all over European Union, US, Canada, unlimited text messaging, etc., I pay only €7.99 per month. Now the next one is transportation, and here I also have good news for you fabulous people, especially for those of you who plan on living in the city center, because if you do live in the city center, let's say in Rome, you really hardly ever use public transportation. Now, if you do decide to use public transportation, the expenses are as following. If you decide to use a metro, one-way ticket that is valid for 75 minutes is going to cost you €1.50. If you just want to get a monthly pass and not worry about it, it's going to be €35. And then a yearly one is going to cost €280. Another great way to move around the city center is on the bicycle. And fabulous people, let me just say that it is such a beautiful and romantic way to move around the city. And every time I see someone on a bike, I just think, oh, this is just something out of the movie. But I personally would never ever ride a bike in the city center because there are so many accidents that happen every single day where someone falls off their bicycle or there is a car that hits a bicycle, and I can never imagine taking that kind of risk. And the second reason is because bicycles in Rome get stolen all the time. And I mean all the time. Every time someone buys a bicycle, pretty much everyone already starts making fun of that person because they say, oh, so I'm wondering after how many days it's going to get stolen. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you my 2 cents on it. But if you do want to get a bicycle, the price for a new bicycle will be about 130 to 210 to 150 euros. All right, the next thing that I wanted to mention when it comes to transportation are the Ubers and taxis. A lot of people always ask me, Anastasia, what do you prefer, Ubers or taxis in Italy? And let me tell you, fabulous people, that in Italy, Uber is unfortunately not like in the States. Here in Italy, we only have Uber Black, which means that you will get a very fancy version of Uber. So you will call Uber and there is going to be a guy who will come to your place in a nice suit, in a nice Mercedes or BMW. He'll pick you up, he'll give you water, he'll take you to your destination, but that will be very expensive. Now, if you are a budget conscious traveler, I do recommend to choose a taxi, but not a taxi on the street. What I strongly recommend is for you to download Free Now app and to get taxis only through that app. The next is the food, of course. As you guys know, this is probably going to be one of the big reasons you are moving to Italy, so you can enjoy real Italian food all year long. And let me tell you, when it comes to the Italian food and Italian street food and just food of different Italian regions, that will just never disappoint you. It's incredible, and in my opinion, it does cost less than in most places in the US. I would say the average monthly budget for food should be about 200 euros a month per person. To give you guys specific examples, let's go to the grocery store together here in Rome, and I'm going to show you how much some of the essential items that we consider essential items cost, so you guys can get a very good understanding how much to budget for food in Italy, as well as to compare it to the prices in the United States. All right, fabulous people, as you can tell, we are at a typical traditional Italian supermarket. We're a little bit outside of the city center, so it's a bit bigger. Usually the ones that are in the city center, they're much smaller, more compact. But here I thought we just have so many options, so I can show you guys more or less how much food costs in Italy comparing to the States. All right, let's go shopping. Now, when it comes to going out in Italy, of course, it will depend on the area where you will be going out, on the region in Italy where you will be living. But if I have to kind of give an average, then the breakdown is as following. For lunch, you're looking at around 15 euros per person, and of course that comes with a glass of wine. If you don't want wine, then of course it's going to be way cheaper. Now, for dinner for 2 people, you are looking at somewhere around 60 euros. But again, that will depend what you order, what you drink. It will also depend if you're going to a taverna versus the restaurant. As you guys know, restaurants will always be more expensive than tavernas. So if you're going to a restaurant, your bill for 2 people can easily be 120 euros. Versus in trattoria, it will stay somewhere around 40 to 60 euros. To sum it all up, fabulous people, life in Italy is of course not like what you see in the movies, but comparing to other places in the world, it does have that dreamy, romantic undertone to it. I believe that you can create a life full of magical moments here in Italy. And if you ask me, Anastasia, after seeing everything that you've seen in Italy, after experiencing everything that you've experienced in Italy, would you do it again? And with all the certainty, fabulous people, I will tell you, absolutely. I love this place with all my heart. This is my home forever. I'm definitely not leaving Italy. I might go here and there. I will travel. I will explore this world. I will take you with me. We will travel together. But Italy forever will be my home. All right, fabulous people, this is it. I talked for so long, I literally cannot even feel my jaw. And I just wanted to give you as much beneficial information as possible. If you want me to make a separate video on cost of moving to Italy or how to move to Italy, I will be happy to do so. Just please leave me a comment below, let me know, and you guys know I create videos for you to give you as much of beneficial, useful, interesting, at times entertaining information. All right, if you haven't done so already, please remember to smash that like button and to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. The biggest kiss from Rome, Italy.